You're an asshole.
Good ass.
No, I'm not.
Welcome to the after show of episode. Yes, it worked! Episode 3 of Vampire the Masquerade.
Okay.
I think we bored Mathis to death.
Yeah, that was the most boring session of my life.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh no, that was terrible.
Character development.
Why can't we just skip all these cutscenes and get right to the fighting sections?
Right?
Yeah. These are my favorite, man. As I said before, I think I said it right before we started recording. I goddamn love this group. You guys do. You fall into the roles so well. You find your characters so well. And your just acceptance of how things work and how this game works is great. Because again, World of Darkness, for people who are very familiar with D&D and not much else, it's very hard for them to go from being the hero of their story to being something much weaker than that. Because a D&D, like a level, I would say like a level 5, level 6, like D&D character could kill a vampire. From like a low level 13th gen kindred could just wipe you. And that's like hard to process and accept that as a player and going from D&D to
my bard could kill my vampire. Good to know.
Your bard could probably kill
viciously mock him to death.
Yeah.
Your bard's level 14. Like you could kill like a half dozen of these vampires at once.
I could kill all 4 of us. Apparently, my level 14 bard.
It's just really interesting. Like you just have to come at this system from a completely different mindset.
You do.
Yeah. And it's been, I think I said this in the first video. It's been really refreshing for me. Anyways, it's like a great trial for me as a role player and a gamer, and to have to come at something that's like, sorry, you're not going to be able to storm the castle to solve your problem.
Yeah.
And you're definitely not going to be able to talk your way out of it thanks to your character choice. And to top it off, you're bad. There's no good. It's not about redeeming yourself. There's no second chance. I don't feel like in Vampire the Masquerade. You know what I mean?
I see it very, very similarly to Shadowrun. Like, I very rarely play Shadowrun, and nearly all the... I'm not sure if I've actually ever played it, I've only ever GM'd it. But I'm like, yeah, this is Shadowrun. Like, you are weak. You have to find the ways. Except it's less about then finding the spot to strike. It's more about just avoiding everything politically and then doing what you have to do, but then trying to do it in a way that,
This episode was great for me as a storyteller, just because the big fear of taking new players into Vampire is twofold, right? You've got the worry that you're gonna not really grasp the idea of being weak, like you were saying, and not being the hero. But also the other concern is like, how are they gonna deal with heavy politics? Yeah. When those politics gears start to churn, what is the player's reaction going to be? Because a lot of players out there don't want anything to do with politics. It's like, it bores them. It's not interesting to them. And if that, if politics and the balance of, secrets and your ambitions versus the ambitions of whatever government you're working against don't click with you, you could be bored like that and just be like, I'm out. But this episode was like the episode where those politic gears started to turn, story-wise, for me to give to you. And I just wanted to watch. And it was phenomenal to just watch, not only like the 4 of you try and figure out what to do with the information that you have, but then the underlying concern of, do we trust each other? Yeah. And that's also a theme in Vampire constantly, is like, do I trust even the people that I work with?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just watching a flower bloom. This episode is just the 4 of you guys doing your thing as phenomenal players, and me taking notes.
I'll be honest.
My
main
all
worry,
the things you plan to use against us is what I heard. Yeah.
My main worry is that Dakota meets a Sabbat recruiter, because I know that Dakota isn't Sabbat, because if you told Dakota everything about the Sabbat, she'd be like, oh hell no. Yeah. But if you give her a recruiter who pitches her the party line of, we just live with our beasts, we accept them, we just go do our own thing, screw all the rules. I can imagine Dakota getting recruited, and once she's in, we're just damn afraid of that. She'll meet us about recruiting. We're all just screwed.
Well, trust me, I'm damn afraid of you going out and killing the dude that branded your sister.
No, I'm pretty sure I'd bring Dakota along for that one. Having the muscle would be useful.
I mean, that's true, but I'm more concerned about what it means in the long run. I mean, it's funny because I think we each have these except for Ollie, he's the wild card right now. I have yet to figure out what his long-term goals are. I know short-term, he just wants to put an end to his sire. My question is, who is Ollie after that? Like, I look forward to the day where he gets to close that piece of himself out.
I haven't said anything about it. I haven't said any of his long-term goals at all.
I know.
No, you haven't.
Very private.
Yeah.
Get plastic surgery.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm the most forthcoming of the group, yet at the same time, nobody knows just below the surface. They only know the surface material, and I think that's maybe it is a wild card.
Well, a long-term goal, protect your son, is like Zach's long-term goal, protect Ava.
Right.
Like,
true,
can be
but as like Mathis has said, like a decade, just like that's that for a vampire, and for a human, that's fleeting. I want to make sure that my son has a happy life growing up. Outside of that, once he's a man,
proud boxer.
Once he's a man, then that's him. I just want to make sure he's got a good raising. So that's what, maybe a decade and a half at best.
Yeah.
So outside of that,
yeah, but let's be honest, we've got
term.
maybe a decade before Gehenna just fully erupts and we're all dead anyway.
Yeah, that's wild. I don't really know any of the lore of Vampire the Masquerade, so today was a huge learning session for me.
Yeah, it was definitely.
The main issue is, that like when people go into torpor, they are in a torpor for like a longer period and they need more blood because they're in a long period the older they are. So the third generations, when they wake up, they need the blood of their entire like generation. So that's what the Ravnos dude did. He just appeared and then was like, okay, all the Ravnos clan come to me, and they all were forced to come to him, and then he just saw them and just had their blood and was like, yeah, I'm feeling good now. And that's pretty much what's expected to happen for every single
the Nosferatu third generation would wake up.
How does that work?
What do you mean?
Like, you can see a shampoo bottle and it's like two in one, shampoo, conditioner, but you can't actually put two inside of one in this case. How do you put the whole clan of Ravnos into one person? Does it just pop like a water balloon?
Well, the Vita's got like a magical element to it, right? Like it's part like demon or something. Like it's the beast, effectively, that you need their magical essence from the Vita.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It's less about like him bloating and more about the essence, and the soul that comes with it. Basically committing diablerie on his entire bloodline. Because the third generation is the generation that created the bloodlines. That's the thing, right? There was Cain, then his childer, and then Cain's childer is ones that created the Toreador, the Nosferatu, and all the powers split. So them waking up and being like the third gen, they need their entire bloodline to be okay again. And then they can start fresh. And that's another theory, is that Gehenna, like you said, is a crunching circle. Maybe a new Cain isn't needed. Maybe the third generation just need to wake up, wipe out every childer and every kindred in existence, and start over and start the cycle once again with a new fourth gen. And then thousands of years can go until they're back down to 13th, 14th gen, and then the cycle starts again. There's so many different theories to what Gehenna is, and none of them could be right. All of them could be right. Like, who knows? That's what's so great about the lore, is they leave those hooks open for the storyteller to just decide on which one is the one that wants to go. But the
implication is that like somewhere in the next decade, gonna just go nuts.
Things are gonna go down.
Which is why anytime you're like, oh, in like 15 years time, and I'm here going, no, Zach's just like, if we get to 15 years time, I just don't care anymore. I'm like, long-term goals done.
Yeah.
It's the end times for vampires.
Yeah.
So a question, when I can understand when like a ghoul per se will bring their vampire overlord, maybe people to feed from. That seems like it's like, well, my boss told me I've got to do this, so I've got to do this, and I do this. I even do this happily. But like for another vampire to bring another vampire food unsolicited, how does that work? Because like Ollie feels kind of upset. I know, because I'm speaking as him. In their dire situation, he went out and actively hunted for someone and brought them back food, and even prevented the death of that individual. And there was no like, oh, thanks, I was starving, you're such a good guy, or anything like that. It was like, well, I could have just killed him here, and you stopped me, and Zach stood between. And then like I'm stringing out cats into his face. And there was no response at all.
No, I assumed that Zach didn't know what happened with the cats. Like he woke up and was like, why does my mouth taste like cat? Because no one explained it to him.
We actually didn't tell you what happened.
I was like carefully paying attention to the fact that no one told me that.
Yeah.
how each individual vampire feels is up to that person, though.
Sure.
There's no like weird underlying disrespect or any of that stuff. In fact, a lot of elders who put themselves into torpor require others to feed them in order to wake them back up.
Torpor as well.
Yeah. So when an elder puts himself into torpor, usually it's somewhere super secret, super secure, and only a trusted handful might know where they are, so that when the time comes, they can bring food to them and resurrect them and bring them back.
But they feel obligated, right, to their elders, or is tradition?
Ghouls do?
Okay, ghouls do, but not they're.
Well, that depends. It depends if the child and the elder have a full blood bond or not. If they have a blood bond, then yes, it's almost a slavery type deal. Ghouls, while they are addicted to the vitae, they can get vitae from anywhere, but they'll probably end up seeing like the ones who initially were their masters as someone to just respect because they gave them everything that they have.
Sure.
So it really depends from person to person.
The in-character reason that Zach was like, wait, no, but you're not yet. It was like Zach was still waiting to like, did Ava need to get the kill or not? Did Ava need that like final bit? And Zach was perfectly happy to let her get the kill if she needed it.
Yeah, at this point, I think Ollie's just kind of looking at both of them like spoiled little shits, ungrateful.
Oh, without Dakota's there 100%.
Whatever.
Are you joking? She's like, we got a free house, and here's Ava like, shh, this shit's too dirty for me to stay here. Like, I can't.
It's part of her clan. She's a bitch. Yeah,
it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. You're being true to it.
Zach brought in a fridge, and I didn't hear a word of thanks. I got a fridge that we could store our beers in.
Literally, Dakota was like, "The fuck are you gonna put in that?" Yeah. She asked you. First off, she asked you. You drink blood from a bag, one, and two. Then she was like, "Wait, you drink cold blood?" Like everything about it. She was like,
"Well, next I'm gonna get a microwave, and then I can have warm blood."
Oh,
good.
Get a mug saying like world's best best dad for butcher, blood? And then bring him like a mug of warm blood with straws.
Am I gonna have to Google what happens when you microwave blood just so I know?
Congeals.
Probably.
I'm gonna be like, if it congeals, you're fucked.
It totally congeals.
Just drink it cold. You just gotta drink it cold.
I want to think I looked this up one time because I used to get so pissed when they would heat blood on Buffy in a microwave for Spike specifically when he still had the chip in his head. And I was like, there's no way you can do that. My mother is a nurse. I know that shit settles and separates quickly. You add heat to it, it's got to turn into just like...
Yeah, it would cause all the cells to pop because the fluid would expand, and then you'd have all the mush just mixing with the fluid, and it would just be...
God.
It's like a milkshake.
Yum! That's good.
My vampire brings milkshake to the yard. And they're like, this blood is hard. Ugh.
I imagine it turns into like a jello-y like disaster.
Then we can have Jello.
Yum.
It's like when your food goes bad or something. Like nobody wants to eat nasty, like...
But hey, the lore parts were great today.
Yeah. Speaking, these are technicalities of vampire.
I have iron stomach. I can eat that. I'm happy for the Jello. I will try it.
I'm happy to try the blood Jello.
I'm interested in seeing because I can I was reading over some of the clans and the Malks are very hard to kind of get a grasp of.
Yes.
Because you have to have a fairly familiar bond or understanding of issues like, I don't want to say like autism, but in various forms of these disorders, and I don't. So learning them intimately is very difficult for me to grasp. Like I can read the Ventru and be like, this makes sense. You read Toreador, okay, this makes sense. I can point these out, but how a Malk functions, it feels very foreign to me. So I can kind of place it's one of these things where I'm like, I've got to move a couple of steps ahead for the role play here, and I can see where the gangrel is going to react. I can specifically see where Chelsea is going to do this. Like she'll latch on to these affects, and this is easy for me to kind of role play with it. And I can see with the Toreador, like this makes sense for the character,
right?
But I can never place where EE is going to utilize the Malk clan, like the bloodline and some of these features. Like I feel like he's the real she-devil of the group.
Yeah.
And I have to watch him intently.
For research, I basically queued up like several YouTube videos on what it's like to have schizophrenia, and it was people like wearing like earphones and blinkers and stuff, and people like then like a video of like some guy reacting to all the sounds that it then played you, which were like simulations of what people would hear, and then visual distortions.
Interesting.
And then after like an hour of that, I was like, I just want to go and curl up in a ball. That was really intense.
It's weird because you get in like these like hyper focus points, and that's when you're most manipulative. And I'm like, he's gonna fuck with me. I know he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Plays it
take on
really
it is that Zach finds it hard to try and keep track of a conversation because he's still got the voices going in the background, so he finds it hard to try and like keep track of this conversation. So when he has an idea or a train of thought, he tries to get it all out before he loses it halfway through.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in social
I see that.
situations,
So
he
that
stutters
makes
and
sense in your
second
speech
guesses
pattern.
himself because he's trying to figure it out with the voices going on in the background.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a good session. I really,
It was
really,
a good session.
I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah. I might go back and watch
How
this
in
one.
fact have we mirrored the last game we played, where once again the two of you are out plotting against me?
I'm sorry,
happened
you're the
last
one who's
time,
like,
and that's
roll
why
for
it was-
butt!
There was a lot of
Yeah, but
me-
Ida had a heart of gold at the end. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Ida had a heart. Like she was crazy.
What?
I'm
You
pretty
don't
sure
think
her
Dakota
heart
has
was
a
made
heart
of
of gold?
twigs, but
No.
twigs and leaves.
It was very much like Ida, Darian moments, and then obviously the Carousel moments, and now we're having that again. Like,
Yeah, it's happening again, but in a super different way.
The
know,
woke
I
as
love the
fuck
fact I still
blood
don't
club.
think Ollie trust Dakota. I think he's keeping her close because he's too afraid she's gonna fuck everybody over.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a Zach Ollie moment where Zach's gonna be like, by the way, just be cautious when Dakota's like, yeah, totally embrace your beast, because your beast will then just mean that like your child means nothing to you because your child is cattle.
I'm interested in seeing how that comes out, because I know inevitably that's going to come out, that you've done research on me and that you found out about my child, and that's
Yeah.
not going to go over
Yeah.
well.
Oh no,
Oh,
I'm not going
God,
to tell
this
you
is
that I've
gonna
done
be so
research. You've told me you have a child. That's all I need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
know.
Yeah, but like you actively going out of the way to locate him,
Oh, I'm not going to tell you that.
that's
I'm
going
not
to come out.
Dumb.
Oh, we're gonna find that out.
100%.
I
That's gonna
considered
They are
following
definitely
you,
gonna find
and I
out.
was like,
Trust
no,
me.
there's no way I can follow you, and you're going to allow
Yeah.
this. Dakota, maybe.
When you were like, I'm going to access the appropriate political networks to discover information about them, I was like, this is going to trickle down.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If
It's gonna
Dakota
happen.
finds out we're spying on her, obviously Ollie is gonna start suspecting that we're spying on him as well.
Yeah.
Totally.
Let's
Not gonna go
also be real. Well, okay, for Dakota tonight, it was a big realization that like what he's protecting is not just like anything not important. 2, he's a good dad. You're literally the dad that Dakota always wanted and never had.
Oh no, Dakota's actually going to
no.
fancy Butcher because daddy issues.
Daddy.
There's always daddy issues, right? But it is like there's this idea of like you're a good enough person, even with the beast, to like be a good father. Even in like your second life, you know, and like Dakota said on that, it was so funny. A chat was exploding. They're like, Dakota's gonna do something horrible. Look at her plotting, and the
Yeah.
whole time I'm like, just keep a straight face. No, don't let him know. So like she has, oh trust me, she's gonna pull some strings. She is not okay with your child being in an orphanage because she's been in an orphanage and she knows what it's like to not have parents. And to
I'm
not
doing
have
everything
anybody.
in my power to keep the chat like minimized, because I find
Not
myself,
read it.
I
it's
try to do the
difficult
same.
as the player, because I know that I have a metagame issue, and I'm trying to kind of keep it behind everything. I'll glance back once in a while and say something, but I try to keep it behind because I don't want to utilize their ideas.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that like I'll challenge my own train of thought because they may have said something that I was already thinking. It's like, well, you know, an Eritrean man has said something about this, and it's like, well, it's already been said. So
Oh,
it's-
too bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll be in, like, well, I'll text you and let you know what I put on the. I'll tell Mathis too.
Yeah.
The name that I put on the piece of paper because it is. If you don't utilize it, I plan to when I return.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
More plotting even in the after show.
It's really good to see you guys settling into the theme of political as well. It's really good.
Oh, it's half the fun of this. Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah, I love it.
I can't. Yeah, me too.
That's
Love it.
I'm all about that.
And still to watch you guys especially as your characters slowly start to understand the world that they are now operating in, but they still slip up and they still say dumb shit in front of people they probably shouldn't be saying dumb shit.
Oh, yeah. I told like
Butcher,
in
about
front
your
of Mark.
child.
totally about Mark's like, I just want to kill my sire. Like that, If he's an anarch, and well, let's just be honest here, that's not going to matter much to him. At least I don't think it is. And if it does, then I'll have to pay for that in the future.
We just set him up as something that gets him banned, and then we blood hunt him and he dies. Like, we just have to set him up.
That's how the world works.
That's what I'm waiting on, because like I'm seeing this trickle down of experience. Like, we will never ever get to the awesome stuff that I'm reading about, and it's like, but
see, that's what season 2's for. Season 2 is when you do a time jump a little bit. I give you a little bit of experience to play with, and wherever season 1 ends, if there's a season 2, obviously, season 2 picks up with you guys in a bit of a more powerful situation. It's almost like each season's like the prequel, the middling, and the end.
So instead of going with the Anarchs or the Camarilla, is everyone okay to just like go out into the desert, find a abandoned cave, and just hold up there for like 5 years as we gain experience? Just go to Torpor.
Dakota is, so she was already probably living in a cave when she was found in the desert, nonetheless.
going rogue and going independent is something some vampires do, where they leave any major city and just find a small town that it's just like 1 or 2 vampires operate in, and that's it. And
Season 2, Madison, Indiana.
Oh man.
Just saying, there's a million options, and the for me the idea, at least for me as a storyteller, is just to give you a bunch of threads and just see which ones you guys grab hold to and pull on, and then we go that direction.
Have you prepared for Diablerie from one of us?
I've prepared for Diablerie for all of you.
Okay.
Diablerie was the first thing I think I put on as a cheat sheet on
Yes,
the
it was.
Yeah,
I think I commented on it. I was like, Matis knows as well. Diablerie is the first cheat sheet.
I've prepared for a lot. Again, I have an overarching main story that I'd like to tell, as well as some side stuff that I think will be interesting. But all of that stuff is wholly dependent on the choices you make. And Vampire, even more so than just around the corner, Sounds of Silence is more sandbox, because it's just how political thrillers tend to work. You don't really have a main through line. You kind of do, but it's all sandbox for you guys to play in, and your decisions, what you say, who you say it in front of, what information you give, what information you get, that all dictates how the next episode goes. So
Cool.
Also, the poster, EE posted the poster there.
Oh.
it's in the cast corner of Project Veil.
Project Veil.
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yep.
Oh, that's so cool.
The poster.
So while we're gonna go and laugh at this amazing thing, thank you very much for watching the after show, and we'll see what happens next week.
Hell yeah.
Bonding experience or rending experience, one of the two. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.